Hello everybody. If you want to read all the stories in full, please go to www.steveuk.blog. Thank you. Short story 626, The Very Important Potato. Intermediate. Barry was a man who loved rules. He loved signs that said, "No parking," cues that were perfectly straight, and instructions that were clear. He believed that if everyone just followed the rules, the world would be a much better and much quieter place. One Tuesday afternoon, Barry went to the supermarket. His mission was simple: buy one potato. He needed just one to complete his famous bangers and mash recipe for dinner. He found the potato bin. It was huge, filled with brown potatoes. And next to it was a sign. Barry loved signs. This one read, "Please use the tongs provided." Excellent, Barry said to himself, a sensible rule for hygiene. He picked up the large metal tongs. They were a bit rusty and made a loud clack sound when he squeezed them. Barry aimed the tongs at a perfect medium-sized potato. He squeezed. Clack. The tongs slipped right off the round surface. The potato didn't move. Barry said. He tried again. Clack, clack. This time he managed to grab the potato. But as he lifted it, the tongs slipped and the potato went flying through the air. It landed with a soft thud in the reduced-to-clear bread basket. A little old woman standing next to him tutted. "Just use your hands, dear. Everyone does." Barry was horrified. "But the sign, madam. The sign says to use the tongs. It's the rule." The woman shrugged and picked up a potato with her bare hand, dropping it into her basket. She gave Barry a look that said, "Silly man," and walked away. Barry felt his face get hot. This was a matter of principle. He would use the tongs. He selected a new potato target. He concentrated like a surgeon performing a heart operation. He leaned over the bin, his tongue poking out the corner of his mouth. Clack, 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 smack. The potato shot out of the tongs, hit a bag of carrots, and rolled under the stand of cabbage. This was becoming a battle of wills between a man and a root vegetable. Barry was sweating. He tried a new technique, using the tongs like a shovel to push the potato against the side of the bin to get a better grip. Clack, scrape, clack. Success! He had it. He lifted the captured potato high in the air like a trophy. He cried. Just then, a store manager appeared. He did not look happy. "Sir," the manager said, pointing to a small hidden sign at the bottom of the bin. "It also says, 'Do not dig in the potato bin.'" Barry looked down. The bin looked like a badger had been looking for its dinner. Potatoes were scattered everywhere. "But the primary sign," Barry stammered, still holding the potato aloft with the trembling tongs. "The rule was to use the tongs." The manager sighed. "The rule is to be sensible, sir. The tongs are for people who want to use them. You clearly have a special relationship with this particular potato. Just take it, please." Barry looked at the potato in the tongs. He looked at the messy bin. He looked at the manager's tired face. Slowly, he lowered the potato into his basket. He didn't use his hands. That would be breaking a different rule he'd just made up for himself. He walked to the checkout, paid for his single potato, and left. That evening, as he ate his delicious bangers and mash, Barry decided that some rules were, perhaps, a little bit silly, but he still felt a small sense of pride. He had won, and he'd used the tongs. Vocabulary notes. Tongs, noun. Meaning, a tool with two long arms that are joined at one end. Used for picking up and holding things, they are often used in cooking. Example, please use the tongs provided. He picked up the large metal tongs. Similar words. Tweezers, very small tongs for plucking hairs or picking up tiny objects. Pliers, A tool used for gripping and bending, often used by mechanics. Salad tongs, larger, often plastic or wooden tongs for serving salad. To tut, verb, meaning to make a short, sharp sound, a tut, by sucking your tongue against the top of your mouth. This sound is used to show you disapprove of something or feel sorry about something. Example, a little old woman standing next to him tutted, "Just use your hands, dear." Similar words, to click your tongue, has the same meaning. To sigh, to let out a long deep breath showing disappointment or tiredness. To disapprove, the general meaning, but not the specific sound. Principle, noun, meaning a basic truth, belief, or rule that guides your behavior and helps you know what is right and wrong. Example, Barry felt his face get hot. This was a matter of principle. Similar words, a belief, a value, a standard, a code, as in a moral code. To stammer, verb, meaning to speak with sudden involuntary pauses and repetitions of sound, usually because you are nervous, embarrassed, or excited. Example, "But the primary sign," Barry stammered, still holding the potato aloft. Similar words, to stutter, very similar to stammer. To hesitate, to pause before saying or doing something. To falter, to speak in a way that shows you are unsure. Aloft, adverb, meaning high up in the air, overhead. Example, he lifted the captured potato high in the air. "Aha!" he cried. Just then a store manager appeared. Barry stammered, still holding the potato aloft. Similar words, upheld, held up. Above, in a higher position. Overhead, directly above one's head. Story written by DeepSeek AI. Image created by AI Magic X AI. To read all the stories in full, please go to www.steveuk.blog. Thank you.
Have you ever been in a situation where, there's a rule clear as day, but following it just feels completely wrong?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like those signs that seem logical until you actually try to apply them in the real world.
Exactly. It makes you stop and think, doesn't it?
Mm.
Is this rule really helping, or is it just there? Well, today we're diving into a story that captures that feeling perfectly. It involves a man, a single potato, and this sort of epic struggle with a supermarket rule.
Sounds intriguing.
It is. And our aim here is to pull out some insights about rules, our own expectations, and maybe just how, wonderfully absurd everyday life can be sometimes. So let's meet Barry. Barry was a guy who genuinely loved rules, loved them.
Like the clearer the better for him.
Precisely. His whole outlook was, you follow the rules, things work. Simple as that. He liked neat cues, clear signs, you get the picture.
A man of order. Okay.
So fast forward to a Tuesday. Barry's on mission, a very specific mission. Get one potato, just one, for his famous bangers and mash.
Classic.
He finds the potato bin, huge thing, piled high with potatoes. And right there, a sign Barry probably nodded at approvingly.
Let me guess. Something about hygiene.
Spot on. Please use the tongs provided. And Barry thinks, excellent, sensible, hygienic. He grabs these big metal tongs, kind of rusty.
Okay.
He squeezes them. They make this loud CLSOK sound. Aims for his potato, squeezes, CLACK, tongs slip. Potato goes flying.
Oh, no. Where does it land?
Right into the reduced to clear bread basket.
Oh, dear. That's awkward.
And you see this contrast immediately, right? An old woman nearby just sort of tuts, reaches in with her hand, grabs a potato, done.
Yeah, the practical approach.
But for Barry, no way. This wasn't just about getting a potato anymore. It became, for him, a matter of principle.
Ah, okay. So he's digging his heels in. He has to use the tongs because the sign says so.
Yeah.
Even after the flying potato incident.
Exactly. He was committed. It sort of speaks to that mindset, doesn't it? Where the rule itself becomes more important than the outcome.
It really does. The adherence becomes the goal.
So he tries again. He's really concentrating now, like a surgeon focusing on a tricky operation. CLACK. CLACK. Another potato rolls away.
This is turning into quite the scene.
Oh, it was potatoes scattering. It wasn't shopping. It was, well, the story calls it a battle of wills between a man and a root vegetable.
I love that description.
Yeah.
You could just picture him sweating a bit, tongs clacking.
Totally. He's developing techniques, trying to pin the potato against the side of the bin, and then finally, success.
He got one with the tongs.
He did. He manages to grip one, and he lifts it up, aloft, the story says, like this hard-won trophy, victory.
The triumph. But I sense a twist coming.
You sense correctly. Just as he's having his moment, a store manager shows up, and he does not look pleased.
Uh-oh. The mess.
The mess. Potatoes everywhere. But also, the manager points to another sign, a smaller one, kind of hidden near the bottom.
Another rule.
Yep. Do not dig in the potato bin. Barry's just made a huge mess digging around with the tongs. He starts stammering, trying to explain about the first rule, the tongs rule.
Right, caught between two conflicting directives in a way.
But the manager's response is, well, quite insightful. He just calmly says something like, "The rule is to be sensible, sir."
Sensible, not just literal.
Exactly. He says, the tongs are for people who want to use them. You clearly have a special relationship with this particular potato. Just take it, please.
Wow. That's a brilliant bit of management, actually. Cutting through the absurdity, it introduces this sort of meta rule, doesn't it? The rule above the written rules.
The be reasonable rule, yeah.
Yeah.
And Barry, what does he do? Still holding the potato with the tongs, mind you.
He doesn't let go.
No. He slowly, carefully lowers the potato, still in the tongs' grasp, into his basket. He didn't use his hands, upheld a rule, maybe a new internal one.
He stuck to his guns in his own way.
He did. Later, eating his bangers and mash, he apparently decided that, yeah, some rules were perhaps a little bit silly. But he still felt a bit proud. He'd used the tongs.
What a story.
Yeah.
It's funny, but it really makes you think.
It really does. So what does this whole potato saga mean for us? I mean, how often do we bump into rules like that? Clear on the surface, but just weird in practice.
Constantly, I think. Barry's predicament is just a perfect little snapshot of that tension between the written instruction and the unwritten expectation to just be sensible about things.
Right. When do you stick rigidly to the principle, like Barry initially did, and when do you just, use your common sense?
And this story highlights that so well, that idea that sometimes the spirit of the rule, the reason it exists, presumably is more important than following the exact letter, especially when the letter leads to flying potatoes.
The spirit of the law versus the letter of the law played out in the veg aisle.
Precisely. It's about understanding the intent, not just the words.
So here's something to maybe chew on as you go about your week. Think about those rules you encounter. In your own life, how do you make that call? When is a rule non-negotiable, and when is it actually more sensible to, maybe just use your hands?